I'm sitting here up on the sun, in the sun, on the roof where I live here at Wall, and it is Sunday, March 24th, and we are pre-lunar eclipse. Tonight is the lunar eclipse here in Pacific time. The eclipse peaks at 12:12 a.m. and it is a full moon lunar eclipse. So I'm sitting here in the sun, enjoying the warmth, and I am being in peace and stillness and quiet, present in the moment, and thought I would come on and just share a couple of thoughts that are running through. One, I'm thinking about something my teacher Tupac Tito Kuntur said yesterday in a class talking about distractions and how many different ways distractions can interfere with us in our path. And some distractions are obvious and some are not obvious, and some are things we interact and engage with that we can think are beneficial, yet they are still a distraction. They're still serving to take us away from being with the knowledge, the wisdom, the presence that is before us. And we might be avoiding or not wanting to look at those thoughts or those patterns or whatever is present. And so we distract ourselves, and it can create a lot of energy that might feel heavy or take us out of a more positive, beneficial thought process. So I'm thinking about that in conjunction with the eclipse. And eclipse, if we think about just the word, it's really about what is eclipsing, what is leaving, what we're changing, what we're letting go of. And I'm tuning into that energy with this eclipse and what I'm really saying goodbye to here as we move into the pair of eclipses. So the lunar happens before the solar. The solar is going to be on April 8th, and it is a total solar eclipse here in the West. And even though here in California we're not going to get the full solar eclipse, we'll still have the energy of the eclipse and we'll still see a little bit of it. I believe it's crossing the other direction from the eclipse that happened in 2017, where the Pacific did get the full effects of the eclipse. This one, it'll be more like Ohio and into Texas. I believe Texas, areas of Texas are getting the full eclipse. So I'm not sure of the full line of it. So basically we're moving into the full portal of the eclipse, from the full moon to the solar eclipse that happens on April 8th. And I'm sure that for all of us, we've been in different processes in our life. Some of us have been feeling the energies affect us maybe in relationships, others maybe it's in our career or financial sector, and some it's with our health, and maybe for some of us it's even affecting all areas of our life. Nevertheless, there is something that has been speaking to us in a way that has been showing us some things in life that need to shift or that are being called to shift. And I'm asking you, what is that for you? What has come up in your life over the last month, over the last several months, that has been communicating to you in a strong way surrounding whatever area or areas of life that have maybe had some challenges, where it could be very obvious or it could be very subtle as well. Either way, what messages have been coming up, and setting intention for this eclipse? What are you intending to let go of? What are you intending to bring change to in your life? This is a good time to be present, to remove the distractions, to get clear, and to set intentions surrounding that particular topic. You may not have it all worked out. You may not know exactly how you're going to go about the change. The point here is to be clear about what area of life it's pertaining to, and at least to make some resolve that you're going to find your way through the change. Sometimes that is very obvious and known, and sometimes it's not. And we have to allow nature to guide the process, to be in that organic flow, to listen, to see where the energy is flowing naturally. Any area where we've been hitting walls constantly, hard stops, places where we can't go forward and we're struggling or frustrated with it. We want to force the change, but we can't force it. We have to allow it to happen. Yet there are certain things we can do either way to be in alignment with the change. So that could be simply setting healthy boundaries for ourselves. It could be if there are relationships in our life that are not conducive to our well-being, that are not flowing in divine alignment. It could be making a decision to no longer engage with those partnerships that are just not serving the highest good for all involved. It could be something surrounding maybe career. Maybe you're in a job that isn't feeling right to you and there's change that needs to happen and you're not sure exactly what that change looks like. Then it can be simply making the resolve to listen, to clear the distractions, and to begin to focus on that particular shift that is before you. So here today, the simple message is to tune in, clear the distractions, all of the distractions, to simplify, to get clear, and to listen, to be with the energy without trying to force it. So I'll kind of jump off to a side topic which ties into this, but this is the organic flow. I'm thinking also about how much we are programmed into this false timeline, this timeline that asks us to be present at, a specific time. Maybe we have to be at work by a certain time, or we have a meeting we have to be at. Sometimes we can't control that. There's, if you have to be at work, you have to be at work. Yet, that also may not work for some of us. We might need to allow more of an organic time, because in reality, the crop grows when it's ready for it to bloom. The flower blooms when it's ready for it to bloom. We can't plant the seed and then demand that the flower blooms immediately. We have to cultivate the conditions, the soil. We have to allow all the conditions and time, natural time, for that crop, that flower, to come into full bloom. And sometimes we are in such challenging points of life that we're wanting to force that change. We're wanting to make that crop grow, but it just might not quite be the time. So there is this trust that we're being asked to tune into in our life and to allow, trusting that we're in the right place that we need to be in this moment in time. We can't always force it. We have to allow it to happen. With that is now tying into that intention. So it's setting the intention, making the resolve, and then getting clearer and tuning in to what are the next divinely aligned steps. How are you being called forward, and what are you being called to? So here at this eclipse, as we enter into the eclipse portal, I'm asking you to tune in. What has been present in your life? What is coming up for you that is seeking change, that is seeking your attention to be focused on it? And how can you ally with that change? How can you be more ready to take the steps that are before you that will help facilitate a smooth flow with that shift and change? Resistance can be subtle, or it can be really obvious. There are the subtle ways of resistance where we're doing something, and even though we're resisting it, we're having subtle levels of resistance where we're doing it, but we're doing it with that "I don't want to" kind of attitude. And that is natural. However, sometimes also resistance can show us areas where we're just really not actually feeling called. We're trying to force something that's just not ready or not right for our path forward. So tune in, and the best way that I feel we can serve our highest good in this moment is to create clear space and time to be present with what is here for us now, in this moment. I felt like I wanted to make all this content and put all of this work forward. However, it just wasn't the right time. So instead, I've been easing back, allowing it to have the space, being present, simply sitting with the sun and feeling the warmth, enjoying the moment and appreciating this moment for what it is. It's beautiful. I'm blessed to have this rooftop area where I can sit up here, and I'm grateful that it is a clear day and that the sun is shining and there is warmth. And these are sometimes the very simple tasks, the very simple moments that get us ready to be ready for the changes that are before us. The truth is that everything changes. We can try to resist change, but change is upon us. And this is one of those moments where in some way we are being asked to change. What is that way? Seek, look, tune in, get clear, set intention, and make this moment an ally to your growth, to the path forward, to what is going to and what will serve your highest good for you and for all those involved. Whatever area of life it falls into, without force, without control, without trying, without resisting, because sometimes we resist and try to avoid what feels frustrating. And what is frustrating is sometimes where our greatest growth and our greatest opportunities for growth live. Sometimes what we need is what we're resisting and fighting against. So hopefully this message finds you well, and this gives you something to focus on for this eclipse as we move into it. The simple point here is to set intention and to create the clear, empty space that you can be present in, even if it's uncomfortable, even if you're trying to resist it. This is that moment to sit with the resistance and to simply do it, to simply show up and be present. So enjoy this portal as we now move forward into eclipse season, and share in the comments what you're experiencing, and maybe in the comments here, if you see this before the eclipse, share what your intention is. And then after we come out of the eclipse, I would also love to hear from you what came up over the days, the weeks ahead that surfaced, because the truth is something is surfacing and something will surface in some area of your life. It's up to you whether you want to make the connection to it being relevant or irrelevant. Be present, be conscious, and recognize that everything happens for a reason, and it happens for the reason for you to be aware and make the connection. Enjoy. Thank you for watching, and have a fabulous evening, day, whatever moment in time you happen to find this. Take good care. Bye.